Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Recon class in Battlefield 4. Now this class has probably gotten the most updates since Battlefield 3 and its effectiveness has changed significantly. In fact, I think it's going to be one of the favorite classes as opposed to one of the least favorite classes. And starting off here, we have some traditional sniper gameplay with bolt-action sniper rifles. This is the beginning one you get in the beta, the CS LR4 Chinese sniper rifle. We have some limited stat information from simthic.com. They've been digging around and getting us the stats. Hopefully we'll have all the beta stats pretty soon. We do know that maximum damage this gun does 104, which means in close quarters I believe you should be able to body shot most people unless they have the defensive perk on, which is designed to prevent one-shot body shots in close quarters, I believe, from Recon classes. So there are some counters to this class, but at long range a headshot will kill anybody in one shot. Now traditionally in Battlefield 3, most sniper rifles damage drop off went all the way down to 59 damage, which still allowed you to one-shot headshot anybody, but if you body shot them, you'd be doing 59 to 60 damage to them at range. Well, in Battlefield 4, the damage drop-off goes down to 69 damage, so it's about 10 damage higher than before. So overall, you're going to be doing more damage from any range with bolt-action sniper rifles in BF4 compared to BF3. And without a doubt, the biggest thing affecting the Recon class is suppression. I've talked about this many times before, but it's probably one of the most important updates in Battlefield 4 in terms of how the actual game's going to play out. Suppression is much less common now. Sniper rifles and machine guns are really the only weapons that suppress to any significant degree, and even then the suppression effect is much less than it was before. So you'll see a lot of bolt action shots here where I'm being shot at, even take some damage, and I'm able to still return fire and maintain perfect accuracy. You'll notice I've switched over to the M40A5 here. I can't really tell you the differences between the CSLR4 or the M40A5 right now. I think their damage models are pretty much the same. They probably have different rates of fire and different reload speeds and that sort of thing, but as soon as we get the stats, I'll get into that. Now, I want to talk about Bad Company 2 briefly because there was something in Bad Company 2 that got termed the aggressive recon. I believe Sergeant Enigma back in the day was really well known for being a good aggressive recon player, where he would just take a bolt-action sniper rifle, get in close quarters, and hip fire and quick scope people and just play amazingly well to the point where you're taking out people who are playing assault and support classes in close quarter actions with bolt action sniper rifles. And this was possible because you didn't have suppression effect like we did in Battlefield 3, so as long as your accuracy was spot on and your reflexes were amazing, you could hold your own in close quarters with a bolt action sniper rifle. I'm looking forward to seeing this kind of gameplay coming back in Battlefield 4. Now obviously you're going to be at a disadvantage for many reasons, but if you do hone your skills, you should be able to hold your own and get some pretty impressive gameplay out there and surprise a lot of your enemies by taking them down in ranges that they're just not used to getting down from recon classes. Another big change to bolt action sniping is the fact that your bullets now have vapor trails, and this helps your enemies, your foes, try and pinpoint where your location is. Now at first you might be thinking like, great, that's all the recon class needs, is something that immediately tells your opponent where you're located. Well, in small maps here, like playing on domination, it does give away your position very quickly. On large maps, like Conquest here on Siege of Shanghai, it can still be a little bit tricky to locate where the snipers are, especially if they're up on top of a huge building. It's still very hard to read those vapor trails specifically and figure out where they are. In fact, scope glint even makes more sense on maps like Siege of Shanghai because you do need a little bit of help locating the enemy recon classes because they have so many places to hide. Now of course the other big change is that the recon class has access to C4. You only get 3 sticks of it, and you're probably going to need all 3 to take out a heavily armored target like a tank, and ammo boxes will not replenish your C4, so no more spamming with it. You have to use it very tactically. Now in addition to bolt action rifles, we also have semi-automatic sniper rifles. These can be used by any class, but I'm going to use them with the recon class here because you do unlock them by playing the recon class. These are DMRs, which stands for Designated Marksman Rifle. This first one I'm using is called the RFB, which stands for Rifle Forward Ejection Bullpup. Now, I really like the look of this gun. I think it's very, very modern looking. I like Kel-Tec designed weapons. Hopefully we'll see that Kel-Tec shotgun come in the game at some point to compete with the UTS-15. But in terms of the actual performance of these DMRs, currently their maximum damage is 43, their minimum damage is 30, which puts them on par with something like an SKS. They're very similar in terms of their damage model to an SKS, and I love the SKS from Battlefield 3. I think it's a really fun battle rifle. My problem with these in Battlefield 4 is that there seems to be something about their follow-up accuracy. It seems like perhaps the bloom of the weapon or the recoil or something is there that just makes it very difficult for me personally to put down a lot of follow-up shots on my target, and I feel much more effective with the SKS in Battlefield 3 than I do with these guns in Battlefield 4. Hopefully I'll be able to pinpoint it once more stats on these weapons come out, but I'll also say playing with these guns with the ACOG is very difficult. I think it's way too much zoom. Now I've got some motion sensors, I finally unlocked them, and I'm using the Mark 11 Mod 0, which is the other semi-automatic sniper rifle. As far as I know, there isn't a huge difference between the RFB and the Mark 11 Mod 0. I'll have to look at the stats again to try and figure out. I'm sure it's reload, bullet velocity, rate of fire, that sort of thing. And we're using the basic iron sights here to start off with. You only really get iron sights, ACOG, and then you can also get the angled iron sights, so you can switch to those once you have an ACOG on your weapon if you want to switch between different zoom levels. And again, I gotta say, having a hollow sight I think would be much better for these weapons, and at least allow me to try and figure out what's going on with the recoil and accuracy. Maybe I'm having a hard time putting up follow-up shots because I really don't like the iron sights on these guns and I want something like a red dot or a hollow sight. But you can play with them. I would recommend trying to use them in Conquest, because in this domination game mode you're going to get wasted by people with scars and people using just faster rate of fire weapons in close quarters. These are very difficult to use. Now once you unlock the motion sensors, I recommend running with those as much as possible, especially in this domination game mode. It's so useful for pinpointing your enemy and getting the drop on them. You get 3 of them, you throw them out like grenades, and they basically emit pulses which will show your enemies on the minimap. So you want to throw it in a location where you think there's enemies that you have to deal with. It really changes up the Recon class, gives you a lot of options, and allows you to really stay on top of the intel of the game, figure out where your enemies are located, and so you can get the drop on them, which is very important for this class because your weapons are the kind that you need to shoot first to win your engagements. And if you really want a potent class, you can try running with motion sensors and carbines, because carbines are so good in this game, and having that kind of intel with a meaty gun like that is just going to make you an extremely lethal player in close quarter engagements. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.